We've got Barry Cupples here today. Barry, welcome. And this is Maya. Maya's at home lockdown with us, and she's joining me in a lot of these interviews. Maya, does it smell good to you? Is it good? Okay. Welcome, my friend Barry Cupples. Nice to see you, and I'm only so sorry I'm not seeing you in person as we've been doing for the past couple of years now, because you're a great leader in the advertising industry. You're a smart fellow, and you're a good friend. So this is maybe the best we can do at the moment is do this. And thank you for joining us. These are DPAA Short Connects. As you know, we pride ourselves on DPAA connecting all the time, all over the world. So we're trying to keep that going amongst advertising leaders and our members, of which you are both. So Barry, first tell me, how is everybody feeling? How is it going? Are your teams working from home? How are you managing?
And welcome to you, Barry, as well. So thank you for that intro. It's really kind of you. It's always good to talk to you guys. It's always enlightening and a real pleasure. So thank you. Teams are working from home. This is week 3. We were probably at the same time as most companies in the UK and the US. The US probably beat us by 2 days here in the UK in terms of the announcement that was made by the Mayor of New York about subway transport. I mean, that solicited us to say, hey guys, most of you travelling on the subway, so if you don't feel comfortable, work from home. And then 2 days later, everyone here in the UK was working from home. It took probably 3 or 4 days to get into the working mechanism for that. Zoom helped an awful lot. We've got used to Zoom very quickly. Mm-hmm. And the work from home thing has been more seamless than we probably would have expected.
That's good to hear. Now, you've run some major organizations. You were CEO at Omnicom Media. You ran the different regions for them over the years. You've done a great job, evidently, being a leader in providing for morale and leadership. Are there some special challenges in keeping your teams pumped up during this time, and how are you approaching that, Barry?
Yeah, I don't have all the answers, that's for sure, because this is unprecedented. There's no training for this. I did live through SARS in Singapore, but it wasn't like this because we knew we had a window there and how long it was going to last, and so we knew we'd be through it reasonably quickly. Here, we don't know. So the morale thing is a great point. So I got a document from my bosses at Mayfair, and they shared it. It was a Bain document, actually. It was very, very good. And they gave some fantastic advice, and I've been following a lot of the advice that's in there. One of them is the make sure you over communicate. So we've been trying to keep in touch, not just through Zoom. We've launched some brilliant initiatives. The guys have got Talon FM on play, and there's that's going out a couple of times per week with requests, and really enjoyed listening to that. That was good. And we've done the huddle by Zoom, and we've done everything we would be doing in the office in terms of how closely Talon communicates. We've done online and by Zoom. And I think it's been critical at keeping up not just everybody in the staff's morale, but the senior management team too, because working from home ain't easy.
I know. Talon is an interesting and successful model and unique model. Would you maybe just call it normal times? Just tell us a little bit about your unique selling approach in the marketplace and how Talon positions itself.
Well, it's that one's not difficult. We're an independent, and that's what we bring to the table. So we're not owned by anybody, so we can bring an independent point of view. There's no axe to grind. We can work agnostically if we wish to, or we can work with chosen partners. So we're just out there trying to ensure that the medium of out of home, which is going through, quite rightly, a renaissance, a little bit behind time, but not before time. And of course, this has put a bit of a hold on that. But I think when we start talking about the bounce back, and I don't think the bounce back will be that long, I think it will be, I certainly don't think it's as soon as Mr. Trump thinks it is, but it's coming. So let's say by June, as we look to normal times again, out of home is going to play a major part in that. So we just got to make sure we play our part as an independent specialist and bringing the beauty of the medium to life for clients so that they know why they should be using out of home for their brands.
I think you're right. There's probably going to be a lot of pent-up emotion just to get out, to get to bars, to restaurants, to get to Piccadilly, to Times Square, and humans need to connect. So we are anticipating that.
Barry, we have got an unprecedented reality here as well, which I think, whilst things may be very, very dire at the moment because we can't walk away from the elephant in the room, that out of home probably has been hit as hard as any of the verticals in advertising at this point, with people being, requisitioned to stay at home. The reality is that when the sun comes out, it is out today, but I mean by the summer, by June onwards, traditionally people spend a ton of time out of home. We'll add some factors into that. There are no sporting events to take place in the summer. People will have been in homes for the best part of 6 to 8 to 10 weeks. So the summer's going to be a very big draw to be out of home. So experiential exposure to out of home sites, that integration is going to be bigger than ever. So, I'm really hopeful that when the summer comes and the amount of time that people are spending out of home, not least because I don't think people will want to spend any time at home because they'll have watched everything there is to watch on Netflix and every other show. And there's no sporting events like there normally are, like football, soccer events or the Olympics, they're not on. So people are going to spend more than ever in terms of hours out of home than I think of any time in our history. So I think that's a great thing for our industry.
There's probably a related point there too, where the lack of sport will also have an accumulation of ad dollars in pounds, sterling, and euros sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be anything like the US, because the US sport, I worked in that for quite a long time, obviously at Omnicom. I knew how dominant Omnicom were in that space. And I know exactly what's happening in that space because I've still got friends there. So yeah, you make a very, very good point. It's going to be a very interesting time with the lack of, many, many sporting events, whether it's US, predominantly US sided with baseball, NFL and basketball. But here in Europe with soccer, there won't be soccer on. So there's no European Championships, no that big event every 4 years. Olympic viewing is huge, but it's just not going to be there.
And look at the money that has been prescribed for Olympics all over the world as well. And, when people are out of home, that should flow nicely to out of home. What are your clients saying now, Barry?
Well, it's a difficult one because at the moment I think we're still in the foothills of the, it's nascent still. I think clients are doing the right thing by their brands. They know that consumers are not easily open to messaging at the moment, and some of the verticals that are advertising in they're pulling out of. I've been talking to vendors in lots of other media, obviously because I still stay in touch with them. It's tough out there. So, there's no point a brand being in advertising at the moment or sending its brand message out if, people, one, can't find it on shelves, or two, there's a supply chain issue with that brand. There's no point going through that at the moment. I think brands are being very sensible. The conversations I've had, brands are being very sensible about their consumers and very sensible about their own brand. And I think we're in this little hiatus at the moment in April as everybody looks to see how things will pan out. And I don't think we'll get sight of what that's looking like for another few weeks, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think we're all looking for it to kind of at least level off a little bit. Maybe some of the good news, we're seeing Taiwan, you mentioned Singapore, China and Korea have certainly started to make some good progress. And hopefully that'll come to the rest of the world.
Yeah, you mentioned at the front, I was lucky enough to be in the APAC region for many years, and so I'm still very tight with the guys there. I've been talking to an ex-colleague who runs an out-of-home company in China, who used to work with Omnicom. So he's been keeping me up to speed with what's happening there. The recovery shoots are green, but they are small recovery shoots at the moment. Don't be misled by it's all back to normal. It's nothing like that. But the recovery shoots are there. We do know that people are coming out of quarantine in most of the places you just mentioned. Life is slowly returning back to, and we'll be watching all of that because it's important to the out-of-home business, what's happening in malls, airports and so on. So we're keeping a close eye on that.
Right, we've done a lot of connection too. In fact, this is part of connecting as well. And I don't know if you saw, we'll be talking about it. We developed wearethecountervirus.com, a big PSA campaign running globally, and that's good. What advice would you give to media owners during this time across all media as well as out of home?
That's a great question. I'm not sure I'm in a position to give them advice, if I'm honest. I've been taking their advice as well. Not panic. This is a time that all of us are learning from. No one gives you training for this stuff. To try and be as flexible as possible. And I've got to say, what I found in the US here, Germany, and in Asia with the people that we've been talking to, media owners have been fantastic. absolutely fantastic. You know, I can't call one out because I'd be being unfair to many, but they've just been so agile at looking to help. They've got their cancellation periods. You know, people that are directly affected by COVID-19, they've been flexible with them as people who are not obviously affected by COVID-19. But verticals like travel and the ones that are blindingly obvious, they've been fantastic at helping. So I'd be taking their advice. Don't panic, keep an eye on the future. Help brands as much as possible to navigate here. Make sure that the vernacular is clear about, you know, how we're all helping and being agile, and make sure that we're curating the future, which is this will turn, things will get better, things are going to bounce back. It's just making sure that we're all in the right place at the right time to take advantage. When I say advantage, I mean not financially. I mean as an industry with the other industries, to take advantage of, you know, the consumer bouncing back into all of the normal places and us being able to message properly.
Barry, your words are very inspiring, which is great and appreciative. What inspires my friend Baza during this time? Anything around your new office, your home, that kind of gives you pause to open up and smile during the day?
Yeah, you've got to keep your eyes on your kids, and if they don't inspire you, you've done something wrong. So I get inspired by my kids, the way they're reacting to this and learning every day. You know, they're climbing the walls like we are, but in a different sense. You know, they're much younger and maybe much more used to going out or not, I don't know. But that's inspiring. I can tell you, the way that everybody's reacted to the care workers and the people that are in our institutions for health and so on, and the services, I am absolutely inspired by that. The stuff that's gone on here and in the US, I know that's already played out in China and Singapore and Asia, has been really cool. I don't know whether you've had it yet in the US, but we had the first clap day last week, where at 8 p.m. in the evening, you could hear that noise from wherever you were. People outside their houses clapping for the support services. It was very inspiring.
Well, Barry, it's a pleasure to speak with you. I'm so glad that you've been able to showcase your leadership and your innovation and your inspiring words to this. So thank you, and we will all get through it. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you for calling. It's really kind of you.